This video storyline is fictional, it's imaginary. Means it's not real. Has nothing to do with reality. Please watch at your own risk. I only own the editing and storyline, maybe voiceover also. Please don't copy my work. English is not my first language. I'm deeply sorry if there's any mistake. Thank you.
Reminder.
This looks so expensive, Clay. Where did you get this from? She asked the girl, who smirked and leaned back more, letting her friends looking at her new expensive ring. My dad got it for me after he came back from LA last night. Come on, it's not that expensive. He gave me something more expensive last month, so I kinda angry at him last night, but then he promised he will get me something else later. Her friends looking at her in surprise. The ring literally looks so expensive for them, yet Clay said it's not so expensive for her. That's not new. Clay is the only daughter of a very successful businessman. Everyone knows her parents and how important they are in the business world. She got everything in her life, but that's also what makes her attitude, kinda. Being the popular girl that got everything, money, beauty, and attention, but her attitude is opposite of all that. Boys are over her, but then after they got rejected, some of them started to hate her secretly. But the careless rejection started just a year ago. She started rejecting boys after her eyes caught someone, comparing them boys to that person and making them started to feel. The person that Clay's always talking about is the popular boy that transferred to this university just a year ago. Girls started to go over him, but there's something that makes them hesitant to get closer to him. His cold attitude. His eyes always shows how annoyed he is whenever a random girl try to get close to him, and the way he replies to them with his cold and deep voice, instantly making them back off. But even though she got the same treatment, she wasn't backing off like other girls. Instead, it makes her want to get him more. It's attracted her more. Hey, Clay, look. Clay raised her eyebrow and looked at the direction where her friend pointed at before her friend started to squealing. There's him. The popular cold boy finally entered the class just a minute before the professor came. Strangely, he always like this. Students saw him coming kinda early, yet he disappeared before coming to class and shows up right before the professor got here. Clay rolled her eyes looking at her friends, who also try to get his attention. I told you all, don't even think about him. He is mine. The girls immediately stopped and look away, some secretly rolling their eyes. But when are you gonna officially date him? I feel like I saw him getting annoyed as well when he saw you coming to him. It's impossible. He will never reject someone like me. Keep your mouth, or you will regret that. Their eyes widened. I was just joking, Clay. I'm sure he also like you, but just shy to show it. Right, guys? The other immediately nodded. Clay scoffed and looked away while crossing her arms as the professor also came. Meanwhile, he poked his inside cheek in annoyance, 'cause the way those girls talks loudly and he could hear everything. He sat properly and whispered to himself, I already miss her. Everyone getting out the class as it break time. Some of them went to the cafeteria right away, and some waiting for their friends from another class, or just too slow while placing their stuffs back in their locker. And there's someone who looked annoyed after someone come to her and suddenly said something that instantly makes her furious. You know who am I, right? If you're lying right now, I swear I will get you out of this university. She gritted her teeth while glaring at the junior, who then shaking her head. I'm not lying. Everyone knows you have a crush on him. That's why I immediately wanted to inform you after I saw them together this morning. Can you say that again? What did you see? The others surrounding her? This morning I was about to go to the library, but then I saw him alone walking somewhere. I followed him because I got curious what he did there, but then I don't know how, but I lost him. So I just try looking at every places and classes, and Clay listening to her while her hands all ready. And I because I saw him in an empty class that is no longer used with a girl. They heard me and look at my direction. Then I immediately ran away, but I'm so sure I recognized that girl, and she is. She is. She is also in my class. Even she looked nervous this morning when she came to the class. Clay already looking so. Who is that girl? The still unknown girl secretly smirking. She is in my class, the quietest girl who do nothing but read books. She is that type of nerdy, weird-looking girl. The others saw Clay's expression, and they knew something will happen soon. Then I realized she is usually sit near his and his friend's table in the cafeteria. Come on, even if she's friend with Jess, she still shouldn't have sit there. Now I'm sure there's something going on with them, or she is actually him, so he will come to her and show me that. She said before pulling the junior, followed by her friends who seems excited. To the cafeteria. The crowd in the cafeteria full of laughter as everyone liked to eat and talking. There's just some table that's still empty, and the rest is occupied by the students with their different groups of friends. Mostly there are at least 5 students in one table, but there's one group of just 2 girls that's sitting together, busy eating their lunch, not much talking. Even though besides them is the popular boys' table, but both of them didn't really pay attention to them. Yeah, come with me later after school. Let's go to the mall, she said while chewing her fries, but her friend shaking her head, her glasses on the table because she didn't like wearing it while eating. Come on, it will be fun. It's been so long. Stop studying all the time. Finally, her friend looked up at her. Jess, I need to do my assignment. I just have 2 weeks left. Jess rolled her eyes. You can finish them in one day. You can do it another time. Come on, she sighed. Didn't know whether she should agree or not. If she could avoid one thing that she cannot do in life, she would choose not going out to a crowded place. She'd rather stay in her room or the school library. But seeing how her best friend looks right now, making her feel bad for rejecting her. What about taking him along? I'm sure it will be fun, even though he looked boring. Even my brother got annoyed with him sometimes. Her eyes slightly widened as she's shaking her head. No, don't. I don't want any student here saw him with me. Okay. But how long will both of you hiding? I know he actually want to tell everyone that he is taken, so those girls will stop coming to him. She's signaling her too. Let's not talk about this here. Okay. Let's talk about it later at the mall. There's a new cafe I want to show you. She sighed and was about to say something, but stopped and her eyes widened when she saw someone took her glasses from the table and then threw it on the floor. Jess also looked surprised as some students also stopped whatever they were doing and looking at her table. Yeah, why did you do that? She stared at her glasses with her slightly blurred vision. Her eyesight weren't that bad, but she couldn't see letters on the book properly if she didn't wear her glasses. And looking at it slightly cracked on the floor and remembering she didn't bring any replacements, it makes her feel like crying because she still has 2 classes after this and wanted to go to the library before coming to class after eating lunch because she couldn't come to the library this morning. Then she looked up after hearing the person who threw her glasses speak. And there are also more girls behind her. Oops, I thought it was trash, so I threw it away. She furrows her eyebrows before she's slowly standing up. Seeing what happened here, even the popular boys next to them stopped and watched, though they usually don't care. She looked at Clay for a few seconds while she also staring at her. But then she sighed and looked away before she bent down, trying to pick her glasses from the floor. Jess' eyes widened while looking at her best friend. She was about to stop her, but before she could do that, her eyes widened more when something happens. Her eyes widened again when Clay suddenly stomped her foot on her glasses before she could even touch it. That's when everyone looking at them, some also got surprised by what Clay did. The popular boys even stood up, but there's someone who still quietly sit and just watch. Oops, I didn't do that on purpose, I swear. But guess now you became without that ugly glasses, right? She stood up properly, but not looking at her. You, what did you even trying to do? She was about to come to Clay, but she immediately stopped her by holding her arm and shaking her head a little. What? I already said I thought it was a trash. What did I do wrong? Jess gritted her teeth and rolled her eyes. I swear you will regret what you... It's okay, Jess. Let's just sit back. She whispered while squeezing Jess's arm, and Jess looking at her in disbelief, but then rolled her eyes, knowing how her best friend personality. So she then nodded, even though she still so. She whispered and sit back down, making her sigh in relief. She hated attention so much, so she'd rather choose to ignore this weird girl and her friends rather than wasting her time and energy. Seeing her attitude, she already knows she's probably one of those spoiled rich kids who thinks they can do anything they want. Talking back to them will just wasting her time. For her. She glances at Clay for a second before she looked away and was about to sit back as well, but what do you think you're doing? You can't sit here anymore. 'Cause from now on, this chair and table are mine. Understood? She said while her friends secretly giggling at the back, and Clay smirked more, liking the attention and the victory 'cause she didn't talk back at all. Especially knowing the popular boys watching her, thinking they're amazed by her attitude. Can't you just go? What did you say? I dare you to repeat that again. Jess rolled her eyes. Is that not enough? Want me to say it again? Clay clenched her hand and take a step closer to Jess, who already stood up. Then Clay got and raised her hand, but I will make sure you feel the twice as what you gonna do if you do that to my sister. Everyone looked at him after he said that, including Clay, Jess, and her. Clay started too, but of course tried to hide it. He is one of the popular boys, and Jess' older brother. That was the reason why no one sang anything when she and Jess sat beside the popular boys' table, 'cause Clay and her friends thought it was because of Jess. But after listening to what the juniors said before, Clay started to doubt if the only reason that girls sit here is because of Jess. Now she thought she became Jess's friend because she wanted to, the cold popular boy. That's why she got so. Then tell your sister to behave. She called me maybe because you really are. Clay's eyes widened while some of the students gasped, including Clay's friends. She then sighed again, getting more tired of the situation and all the attention, and then Clay suddenly looking at her. This is your fault. I said leave because I will sit here. She closed her eyes for a few seconds before she looked at Jess and signaling her to just leave. Jess rolled her eyes in annoyance, but eventually do what she want, knowing how much her this best friend avoid any arguments. Okay, let's go. I actually don't want to waste my energy on some people. She smiled a little at her. Let's sit somewhere else. Jess sighed, and then she turned to take her food that's still half done, while Clay and her friends smirked, feeling proud to win this easily. But then, before she could take her tray of food, suddenly when she got back by someone all of a sudden, she also heard some students. But before she could understand what's happening, suddenly and then arms wrapped around her. Her eyes widened, and then she looked up when Clay started shouting. Yeah, why did you do that? You nerd. Get up before I told her to leave her table. Now what's wrong? He said without looking at anyone as he instantly liked what he just did, placing his chin on her stiff shoulder, while she still. Meanwhile, Jess finally smirked and saw her brother pulling an empty chair from the other table. Come here, Jessie. Jess smirked more and walks there. The other boys also sit back, not saying anything, even though their friend did something surprising for everyone. But it's not surprising for them or Jess, because they know everything. While Clay and her friends still. Why would you let that nerd sit on your... I did nothing before, because I promised to not interfere in her matters as long as she could handle it herself. But that doesn't mean I'll tolerate your behavior further. So you better, right now, or I will show you what I can do. Hearing what he said, that's when she got back to her senses and her cheeks started to turn red. She then tried to herself, but instead the young man hugged her even tighter, making her look down and close her eyes. She realized after this she won't be able to avoid the attention anymore. But why would you even tip that girl's side? Who is she to you that you, my girlfriend? Got a problem with that? Hearing what he said, everyone, again, louder than before, except Jess and the rest of the popular boys, while she looked down more. Clay gritted her teeth. I can't believe this. I'm sure I know you meet her this morning in an empty class. She probably... Yes, she did. She opened her eyes in surprise, while Clay scoffed. See, you should stay away from her, 'cause I got by her every time I saw her, but I can't help but. Her to meet me every morning in that empty classroom. The students got. Especially her. Even though I could meet her after school anytime I want, but still I could never get enough of it, I always want to meet her. I always miss her and want her to be in front of me in my arms, he said while slowly giving her some. This is the first time he shows this side to others. And Clay saw what he did to her, and she. How can you like a nerd like her who... She stopped when she saw him looked up and glaring at her. She couldn't help. Once again, I heard you calling her like that. I will make sure even your dad won't be able to save you. Just for your information, my parents could easily get your dad company down, especially if they got to know that their soon-to-be daughter-in-law got here by someone like you. Clay blinked her eyes and looked away, while her friends looking at her. This whole time, they thought Clay's parents was the richest here, 'cause she said so. But then Clay tried to act tough and look back at him again. I didn't believe she is really your girlfriend. I'm sure you just pity her. The man scoffed after hearing what she said. I don't care about whatever people think about me, Rose. But still, I will give you a little show. Watch me, he said while suddenly turned her to face him. She looked at his eyes in surprise, didn't know what he planned to do. But then, she got startled when he, her cheeks with one hand and... Clay's eyes also widened. She then turned around and walking away from there, knowing she couldn't do anything more, and also already got so embarrassed. But this time, her so-called friends didn't follow her, except one more girl who also walked out. She also realized she shouldn't interfere in someone else's matter, and just quietly disappeared from there. And the rest, they're too focused on the cold popular boy who, the nerd in front of everyone for the first time, telling them that they're dating already. She realized what he smirked before looking up at everyone who's still watching him and his girlfriend. What? The show is over. Now mind your own business. Everyone instantly look away, 'cause just by his voice, it makes them. Even girls who stood near them before now, immediately walking away. That was... He suddenly speak, and his friend looked at him before he smirked more. He then whispering to his girlfriend, who's still trying to calm her heart. Sorry, but at least I don't need to meet you secretly. I respect your decision and do nothing before, but then I really can't help at the end. But I will make sure no one will dare to disturb or even look at you from now on. Making him secretly smiled. Then heard Jess speak, making him look at her who already sat beside her brother. I already have planned with her later. Don't try to take her from me. She glared at him while he rolled his eyes. I need to buy new glasses for her. She will come with me. No, I can do that for her. She's mine for the rest of the day. She stopped as the man also looked up when she's suddenly able to get away from her boyfriend and stood up. Jess. She's signaling Jess and immediately run away before her boyfriend could stop her. Jess started laughing before she also stood up and ran after her best friend, making her boyfriend look at them in disbelief. Yeah, get back here. He was about to run after the girls, but his friend stopped him by holding his shoulder. Let them. She is yours after she come back. You can lock her in your room. The man scoffed and sit back properly. Your sister is really annoying. Remember, she is also your cousin. We're both cousins, bro. Her boyfriend rolled his eyes again, pouting slightly without him realizing it. I will make sure to hide her phone later so that girl won't be able to contact my girlfriend. He annoyingly said like a teenager, making his friends shaking their head. But still, the young man secretly smiled while remembering how he held his girl before. And how they in front of everyone. From today, he can do that without the need to hide.